Cowbird by Jae Ess. Chapter 24. The King. Cecil Patel is in his late 40s. He is neither tall nor intimidating in presence, though I get the sense he tries to be, with his severe black ensemble and heeled boots. His black hair is thin, revealing clearly the curve of his skull when he stands silhouetted against the window. His mustache and beard are perfectly manicured, lending a sense of nobility to an otherwise shifty, ferret-like face. After studying him like this a moment, it occurs to me that this is perhaps an inappropriate thing to do to the King of Ratonia, so I lower my face quickly and offer a clumsy curtsy. Greetings, Your Highness. I am Francis Porter. I wait several seconds for his acknowledgement, then add, You may know me better as Francesca Patel, though it is a name I have yet to grow accustomed to. Yes, he clears his throat, answering at last. Yes, please. Lift your head. I do as I am bidden, and once more I am left to study the face of my long-lost uncle. He is less fashionable, and therefore less familiar to me than his daughter, whose photographs appear regularly in magazines and newspapers. Nevertheless, his face is not completely unfamiliar to me. And indeed, when I look closely, once more I see a slight family resemblance to myself, though less so with Cecil than I noticed with Leon, the old king. Evidently, Uncle agrees with me. You are Leon's daughter, all right. Any fool could see it. Call me a fool, then, I think, as I feel color rise to my cheeks, for I never once even dreamed of such a thing in all my 26 years. Please. He gestures after studying me a bit longer. Sit anywhere you like. I take the seat nearest to me at the long, distinguished-looking walnut table, and my backside sinks comfortably into several inches of blue velvet cushion. He stays where he is on the other side of the table, and I watch him closely, waiting anxiously for his next words. I'll confess, he begins, I don't know quite how to behave myself. I ought to be rejoicing to be reunited with long-lost family at last. But it is not so simple as that, is it? Indeed, your arrival could not have come at a worse time for me, as my reign is in its infancy, and there are some who would imagine, as Leon's only child, your claim on the throne is stronger than my own. So while on one hand it is good to meet you, Francesca, on the other— Yes, I interject myself quietly. I quite understand. Believe me, I did not ask to be brought here. Please allow me to say this plainly. If you're imagining I've come to this place with the intention of making trouble, you are mistaken. I came at my bodyguard's insistence, seeking only refuge. Refuge. He hesitates, then answers, Yes, I'm told you've had a rather difficult time of late. I nod, not even wanting to think of all Hugh and I endured in the last 72 hours. No, I've been running even longer than that. On October 22nd, a man named Harrison Squire attempted to end my life. A similar incident occurred on the 24th, with an attempt made by an unknown man of Kurt's nationality. More of them caught up with me on the 1st, after King Leon was killed, and wounded me, though we managed an escape. At the time I couldn't imagine why on earth they'd target me. Even after, when my bodyguard explained the truth of my identity, I couldn't understand their persistence. I thought the only explanation could be that I was next in line to the throne and a threat to someone's schemes. But of course that was nonsense. After all, I'm just a bastard, I say. And Cecil snorts faintly, as though caught off guard by my statement. And even if I were not, who on earth could ever imagine me as queen? Me, I somehow managed to stop myself from saying Cowbird, and clumsily change the trajectory of my sentence. This nobody. Indeed, Cecil says after several moments' hesitation, and I realize he came to lean forward on the table at some point during my speech. Something about the pose makes me think of Dwayne Porter. In fact, I get the impression he is rather like my adopted father in many ways. In love with his money, or maybe just himself. And hiding something. Definitely hiding something, I think, noting the perspiration breaking out on his temple. Indeed. Regardless, I resume, I don't want the throne. All I want is to leave this place safely with Hugh. Hugh? I feel a bit embarrassed admitting it, but he's my bodyguard. We love each other and we're going to be married. Uncle is watching me closely. I wasn't sure how he'd take this news, but somehow I get the impression he's not displeased by it. Or maybe that's just my imagination. After all, I hardly know the man. Just to be safe, maybe I should offer some excuse. I know it was inappropriate, and believe me, Hugh behaved honorably from the start. But we were thrown together under such horrific circumstances, and, well, it sort of just happened. No, I understand, he assures me, clearing his throat sharply. I understand perfectly. I sit quietly, waiting for his next words. So then, what you're telling me is, if I give you this Hugh... I wait, not even daring to breathe. If I let you leave with him, you'll disappear? That's right, I say firmly. Just give me Hugh Bailey and an escort until we reach the docks, and you'll never see or hear from us again. Cecil considers my words with a glower before reaching suddenly for a notepad. He scribbles the name down, and I feel my heart tremor with a brief surge of hope. Then he straightens, taking his weight off of the table to come to his full height. You'll forgive me for saying it, Francesca, but Leon's child is neither needed nor wanted here at this time. In fact, I'm sure you'll never be. I'm fine with that. It doesn't hurt my feelings in the slightest. Your existence is an inconvenience to me, and a threat to the stability of a country still reeling from the assassination of its beloved monarch. So I will do everything in my power to give you what you ask for, and ask you to leave this place quietly. I could collapse with relief. Thank God. This is all I wanted. I don't need anything else from this man, or my dead father. Just let me go. Uncle is still talking. It is unfortunate that your coming was leaked to the staff last night. It would have been better if no one knew you'd come at all. He sighs with definite annoyance. But, since we cannot undo what's been done, we'll simply have to manage with things as they are. So while you're waiting to reunite with this Hugh Bailey, you're not to draw any more attention to yourself than you already have. Is that clear? I'm insulted. It's hardly my fault the staff found out I was coming. Still, I must nod my obedience. Perfectly clear, sir. You are fine to stay within the confines of the palace grounds, but do not step outside of it without my explicit permission. Yes, sir. Cecil nods, evidently satisfied with my answer. Good. You are dismissed. I rise from my seat, hesitating to find myself still caught in the king's stifling glare. It looks like he has something else he wants to say to me. Should I wait, or... He answers my question by giving me a final word of warning. Stay out of my way, Francesca. I gulp. Just stay out of my way, and you and I are going to get along just fine. On that simultaneously relieving and ominous note, I make a quick exit on heavy plodding feet, shutting the door behind me just a bit too hard. I stop against it and squeeze my eyes shut, breathing an enormous sigh of relief. There you are. For the second time today, I give a shout of alarm at a greeting, and I open my eyes to find the familiar figure of Will St. James standing eagerly before me. I've been looking everywhere for you, Your maid tells me you haven't had breakfast yet. Allow me to do the honors, my lady." Before I can protest, he's taken me by the arm, outwardly a very gentlemanly gesture, though in reality he's practically yanking me along after him. I don't really have the energy to argue with him, so I go along with it for now, enticed by the promise of food. With the anxiety of my meeting with the king past, my ravenous hunger has returned in full force. I'm rather looking forward to breakfast, though not so much to the company I'll be sharing it with. But I'm hardly in a position to complain when I don't even know where to find food in this enormous palace. Grateful to have a guide, even if it's one as obnoxious as Will St. James, I follow him to a bright, mid-sized room with a large table. To my great distress, I find every seat already filled save 2, which evidently are in reserve for us. A lengthy series of introductions follow, leaving my eyes spinning and my mind reeling trying to remember everyone's name, though in the end it doesn't really matter. Of greater concern is Will's insistence on introducing me as the princess and Leon's daughter, and the rightful heir. I may not be the most socially adept person, but even I am aware this sort of language, even used in something as banal as introduction, is in direct contrast to what I assured my uncle I would not do only minutes before. He told me not to draw attention to myself. I attempt to explain this to Will, with little success, and in the meantime breakfast is served. I am famished and overwhelmed, so for the moment I forget my objections and misgivings, and content myself to be buried in food, though, sadly, there is little occasion to eat. My name is the first word on everyone's lips. All these important people whose names and titles I cannot remember, they are pressing me with questions, dreadfully curious it would seem, about my upbringing and the life I've lived till now. How is it I've managed to stay so perfectly hidden for so long, and what do I mean by turning up at a time like this, just when the old king has been assassinated? Do I intend to contest the matter of succession? Will I arrange myself in opposition to the evidently unpopular Cecil Patel, and throw an already teetering country into absolute chaos? They are very curious, and I feel myself shrinking, pressed dreadfully under the weight of that curiosity. I answer, to the best of my poor ability, that I do not intend to cause any trouble for my uncle, and that I did not mean anything special by turning up now, etc., etc. Will, sensing my discomfort, pushes his way into the conversation with his usual bombastic manner, thus taking a bit of the pressure off of me. Or at least he should be. But though I do my best to ignore what's going on around me and focus my attention on a most excellent breakfast of bacon, beans, sausage, mushrooms, sliced tomatoes, and toast, I can't help but be aware of him dropping several unfortunate hints to the others. Does this man really think I came here with the intention of becoming queen? Or maybe to him, it doesn't matter why I came. To him, all that matters is I am here now, and he seems determined, for his own nefarious reasons, no doubt, to push me all the way to the top. After breakfast, I pull him aside, mortified. Please, for my own safety, I beg you not to spread such horrid rumors. If it gets out that I'm here to usurp my uncle, which I'll remind you I'm not, it could end very badly for me. Nonsense, Will assures me, patting my hand. You are perfectly safe. Just leave everything to me. Leave what to you? But he doesn't get a chance to answer, since just then a face I recognize comes into view, and I gulp. Lillian Patel. Once more I curtsy to her. This time she answers, though to my mind she remains as cool and aloof as before. Seeing the opportunity, Will takes it upon himself to introduce us, and we murmur the appropriate greetings. Cousin Francesca, she startles me with her address. You must change your shoes and don your raincoat. It's nearly time. This, she says, and turns to leave without further explanation. I turn to Will. Nearly time. What does she mean? Time for the funeral procession, of course. Didn't you notice everyone at breakfast was dressed in black? Well, Never mind. The old king and queen are to be buried today, and you must go along with the procession as the king's daughter and rightful heir. Impossible! The king himself told me to stay out of sight and not draw attention to myself. How could I possibly? Will St. James speaks the truth. I am startled by the sound of Lillian's voice carrying back to me, and I turn sharply. I didn't realize she was still here. You are to walk in the funeral procession alongside the rest of the family. But that's ridiculous. I didn't even know my father, and I don't know any of you. Besides, the king told me specifically, it is not the king's order, but the queen mother's. I stare at Lillian, mouth agape. The queen mother? You mean? That's right, she says, and her cool mask is disrupted by just the faintest smirk as she says, it is our grandmother's wish. So come walk with me, cousin.